G'day everyone, welcome back to another video. Now, Pauline Hanson is going after Jim Chalmers. She's going after the Labor government's new budget. You know Anthony Albanese will be scared from this, so let's check it out. Let's see what she's saying, because Jim Chalmers only blamed overseas. That's all he did. He blamed the overseas war for all of Australia's problem.
War in the Middle East has been pushing up prices. We didn't decide when this war began, and we have no control over when it will properly end. The conflict in the Middle East and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz has disrupted the global economy.
But you know what? Inflation was running rampant before that. It's because of the government spending. So let's see what Pauline Hanson is saying about this.
Labor's Treasurer Jim Chalmers. So I don't know where he was last Saturday. Not only did they not have the guts to stand a candidate for Farah, but also, if we are to believe last night's performance, they have no idea what the average Australian is concerned about. We know on social policy they are hopeless. They have no intention of taking Australia back for the majority of Australians. They have no idea how angry Australians are about being welcomed to our own country.
Yes, good on you, Pauline, calling that out. Welcoming us to our own country has to stop. It's so good she's calling out. She's so down to earth with real Australians.
They have a deaf ear to the fact that some people will never become part of Australia if they can't speak the language or hate what Australians value most.
And they're going to stop letting those people in.
And then we get last night, one of the most shameless performances in all budget history. No shame at admitting that our young people face budget deficits until way into the next decade. No shame that gross debt will reach $1 million next year. I repeat, $1 million. Go and tell young people that. No wonder there were no revenue projections for the next 10 years. This mob will raise even more taxes. $77 billion net tax increases next year. No shame about telling us that inflation could reach 7%, but then they have the gall to say they will help young people into houses.
I can't believe they said that.
How the hell did they get houses with interest rates climbing to 10%?
Exactly, and that's what the Labor government will not address.
I have said before that Gough Whitlam, one of Labor's heroes, and certainly compared to this lot, a real hero. He was turfed out in a landslide defeat in 1975 because he was economically incompetent. But revenues were then 24.5% of GDP. Last night, Chalmers had no shame in announcing that the Albanese government's revenues would be 27% of GDP, and no shame in saying that there would be higher taxes over the medium term.
That's right, they got rid of negative gearing, they want a higher tax, they still want to go into the net zero, which is insanity. So good on Pauline Hanson calling them out. They're a disaster and they're acting like they're doing good work, which makes it even worse.
There is nothing in this for hard-working and productive Australians. Nothing. The handouts continue to renewable energy when anyone with a modicum of common sense would say scrap net zero, get out of Paris and do what this country did for years until it was overtaken by the global warming climate change hoax. Use our plentiful natural resources to deliver the kind of wealth to individuals and businesses that once used to be taken for granted. And then
Exactly. Make our country great again. Use our resources, export them. Stop this climate change scam that they've been pushing, the net zero rubbish. It's destroying the country. And they, in that budget, complained that there was no oil because of a war. That's why the country's falling apart. But instead of drilling for oil, all they wanted to do was go more into net zero. That just shows you everything, how out of touch this government is.
Say emphatically that we will decide who comes to this country, and no one is welcome to bring the problems they left behind into our once stable and united world. The polls say that the Albanese-Chalmers farce is supported by barely 30% of the voters. That is, 70% don't want them. And last night proved why they don't want them. One nation will take Australia back to the majority of Australians. One nation will educate Australians, as if we do care about the next generation. That we do care about the next generation. This generation has to live within its means. The age of bribing voters has to end.
Exactly. All they did was, we'll give you $45 a week back, or 44, whatever it was, a week back. on your bills by 2028. Inflation is outracing that. That's not going to be worth anything under the Labor government. They're trying to buy voters, saying, we'll give you $1,000 off your tax return. That's all they know how to do, is try to buy voters.
The age of irresponsible spending has to end. In fact, the age of having no guts to tell Australians the true story of the mess that Labor is leaving this country must end. A government that can't tell the voters the truth does not deserve to be in government. And that brings me to the seat of Farrer. You know, they said One Nation was a party of grievance, a party of protest, a party that would always be on the fringe. They said we were racist, illegitimate and divisive. They said we might get this odd Senate seat, but never win a seat in the House of Representatives. But then something happened in South Australia a few weeks ago. The state's political landscape was reshaped by a One Nation earthquake. We won as many seats as the Liberals and smashed their primary vote. We achieved massive swings in safe Labor seats and made them marginal. We demonstrated we could convert our surge in the polls into votes. They panicked, then suddenly realised One Nation was a real chance in the Farrer by-election and did everything they could to stop us. They spent a fortune, they created attack websites and social media accounts. They put up billboards all over the electorate. They bullied our volunteers. They ran dozens of hit pieces in the media, and there was a lot of cheap mud raking. Well, the people of Farrer have sent a loud, strong message. I suspect it will fall on a lot of deaf ears. I want to congratulate David Farley on his stunning win in Farrer, and I'm pleased to acknowledge his presence in the Senate chamber today. David is a native Narrandera in the heart of the Murrumbidgee irrigation area, and David is going to be most welcome to work with the team, and I congratulate David on his win.
There you go. It's so good. One Nation went out there and won Farrer. They didn't win, they smashed it. An absolute landslide, destroying the Liberal Party. They're not even in the race anymore. That shows you how much One Nation is growing, and they are so scared. And the Labor government going out here, still going into net zero and all this rubbish, not addressing mass immigration, not addressing radicals in the country, nothing. All they said was, we need net zero. Even after complaining we have no oil, doesn't make any sense. They're saying we need to put more money into climate change and net zero, which destroys the country, as we've seen. Don't address radicals in the country. Just say we need to tighten gun laws and have more laws for people online. What a complete joke the Labor government's budget was. It's good to see One Nation is rising up. All the propaganda they've been spending on trying to attack One Nation isn't working, because real Australians can see what's going on in their country and they want change and they're ready for it. So good on you, Pauline, for speaking up. And congratulations on everyone winning Farrer. It's so good to see. So let's keep this train going. Let's keep speaking up for Australia. Make sure you like this video. Comment down below what you think about this speech Pauline did. And subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Keep speaking up for Australia, everyone.